all right, you will rise up. It does not matter how long you have been down. The fact is, you are going to rise up. Men may have cast you down. Conditions may have cast you down. Stress and a lot of things are up against you. But you are going to rise up again. Jesus rose up. Death could not hold him. And to you and some people, there could be a lot of things that have died in your life. Your business could have died. Your blood could not be well. There could be something wrong with your body. And it seems like as though your cells are dead. But they will be revived again. Because God lives in you. That condition is not going to hold you up. Everything that you see has a time. God has placed time for everything. And just as you would see, you'd go to a convenience store or a market to buy a product. And the manufacturer places an expiry date for that product. Even your condition has an expiry date. A time is coming when your condition will be no more. Now, I want to read to you a scripture that is very powerful, that is quite good. And the scripture is in the book of John 1:8. John 1-8. And it reads, "Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now there is in Jerusalem, near the sheep gate, a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, 'Do you want to get well?' 'Sir,' the invalid replied, 'I have no one to help me into the pool. When the water is stirred, while I am trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me.' Then Jesus said to him, 'Get up, pick up your mat and walk.'" Now the scripture says, it starts by saying, sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Sometime later. There is a time that Jesus will come to you. Scripture says sometime later. Now, the scripture says that there was a Jewish festival, something that was celebrated. And it was known to be near the sheep gate, a pool, which is in Aramaic called Bethesda. And there, the scripture says, the water will be stirred. It is believed that an angel would come at a specific time and stir the water. And there, at that specific time, a lot of people who had conditions, the invalid, the blind, the sick, those that were paralyzed, those that had leprosy, whatever condition that you had, people would believe that whoever falls into the water first is healed, is made well. Now, the scripture says, in verse 5 says, one who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. He had been there for 38 years. That means this man had faith. Every year for 38 years, he would come to the same pool. He had had that condition for a long time. And the scripture says, when Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time. He asked him, "Do you want to get well?" What a question. What a question. Jesus asked him, "Do you want to get well?" Now, I love what the man said, because instead of the man saying, "I want to get well," the man started explaining certain things that do not make sense. This is what the man said. "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Now the man was asked a question, "Do you want to get well?" But he responded with another amusing statement. Instead of saying yes, but he started complaining and saying, "I have no one to get me there. When the water is being stirred, someone else gets into me." He always had something to accuse. He always had someone to accuse. And some of you could be in that condition where Jesus is asking you, "Do you want to get well? Do you want that condition to go?" But instead of saying yes, you are accusing somebody else. You are accusing something else. And Jesus, I love what Jesus said to him. He said, "Get up, pick up your mat and walk." Now, this is a stranger to him. To this man, it was a stranger. But the way in which he spoke with authority. And the man had to respond. He used faith. He did not again complain and again bring back the same old story. When you read the scripture, the man just got up. He picked up his mat and walked, and he was made well. And that is the same response we should do. When God says get up, when he says that you are healed, when he says that in fact the scripture says, by his stripes you were healed. That means healing had already taken place. My brothers and sisters, good news is you will rise up. Just as this man, he had been in this condition for 38 years. Some of you have been in your condition for a few years. Some of you have been even in that condition for just a few months, or even weeks, or days. But this man had been in this condition 38 years. I do realize there are some of you who have been in your condition for 50 years, 40 years. But God is the same God. The same God that called Lazarus out of the dead. He called him out. He's the same God that will call you out of that condition. That condition is not permanent. It is temporary. So have faith in God and you will rise up again. Now I'm coming to the end of this word, and if you have been blessed by this word, let me know in the comment section. If you have any prayer request, it does not matter how big your condition is, I will pray for you and God will do something new in your life. Remember, the prayer of a righteous man availeth much. That means there is prayer that does not avail it much. So that's why it's very important to keep on praying. You are righteous because you have received Jesus. You have received the righteousness of God. So that's why I say keep on praying. Pray without ceasing. And God will do something new in your life. Now, until next time, be blessed.